Hey everyone! So today I'm going to show you how to make the Batman Minion. It's another Minion designed by Jess Davies, also known as CraftLover17 on Instagram. This is the same one that I'm creating as I'm filming. So that's why you're still going to see the stitch markers on the cape. When you get to that part, I do recommend that you use the stitch markers the same way that I do. Just control your rows and you'll know where you are. These are the supplies that you're going to need to create him. When you get to the body part, you're going to use the same video as we used for the Superman minion or the Hulk minion. You're using the exact same body. The link for it will be down below in my description box. So I do hope you enjoy, and let's get started. Before we start with round 1 of the foot, we need to do a chain 4. But just to show you, this is what the foot's gonna look like, the little leg. This is super cute. So what we need to do is pick a different color for the cap band so we can break this band. We don't need this, but it's a good way to start. You could do this with a C-clip. I'm still not comfortable with doing that, just to secure it. So I am gonna use a band and I am gonna ask that you break it after. So I do apologize in advance. We're going to take this and wrap it around our hook 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do a chain with 4 black bands. So this is what you should have before you start with round 1. For round 1, this is the pattern. We're going to do 2 single crochets and then 4 single crochets in the same chain. Then 1 single crochet followed by a decrease. So let's start here. We're going to leave these 2 loops on our hook. I'm going to support them with my finger and I'm going to go in the next chain. And I'm going to bring my first band through just the chain on my hook. So I have the 4 loops and then slide. Now I'm going to go into the next chain and do the same thing. Bring 1 band through, just the chain on my hook and slide. Now these 4 bands I'm going to bring inside my last chain where this pink, where you can see this cap band. I'm going to do 4 single crochets in that same chain. Back in. Back in. And one more time. Now before I continue with the last 2 chains, I'm just going to break this band. I have a pair of scissors in front of me, so I'm going to break it. So now with the next stitch, you're adding 1 band. So you're going to jump over, bring your band through the chain and slide. And then your last stitch, you're going to bring 2 bands through. Back in. So now you should have 10 stitches. So let's count our stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 is on our hook. You're going to attach your stitch marker to that band that's around your hook. And then you can just kind of move them out around and they will go into place after. For round 2 of the leg, we are going to do 1 single crochet followed by an increase. 1, 2, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this 5 times. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 15 stitches. So let's go in our first chain with 1 band. And then the next chain, you're adding the 2 bands. Back in. and repeat the pattern. 1, 2. Back, oh sorry, the next one with 2. And you're going to just continue the same way all the way till you get to the stitch marker. So again, you should have 15 stitches. You can remove that stitch marker. For round 3, we're going to do 15 single crochets in the inside loop only. So this is the bottom base. Now we're going to build up. So make sure that you're only grabbing that one little loop. So I don't know if you can see, don't go through it all, only grab the inside loop, adding 1 band to each around. Inside loop, 1 band. Inside loop, 1 band. So just continue until you get to the stitch marker. And the last one, so you should still have 15 stitches. For round 4, we are going to decrease on this round. So the pattern is going to be 1, 1, 1, 1 invisible decrease. So I'm going to add an extra band. 1, 1, 1, followed by an invisible decrease. And you're going to repeat that one more time. At the end of round 4, you're going to have 12 stitches. So let's go in our first 3 chains with 1 band. 1, 1, 1. First chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring your 1 band through. Your second chain with 1 band. And your third chain with 1 band. Now, to do your invisible decrease, you're going to go in your next chain. You're going to do a slip stitch, so you're basically bringing it through your chain on your hook, and there's your little slip stitch or slip knot. You're going to repeat by leaving these on your hook, going in the next stitch, bringing your band through, sliding, so you have the 3 loops on, and slide. You're going to repeat the pattern. 1 band in the first 3 chains. So 1, 1, 1. Followed by an invisible decrease. So again, go through the chain, bring your band through, on your hook and slide, but don't go through your chain. You're going to leave it. Next, repeat. We're making this round smaller. Now you can slide. And you're going to do that one more time. to repeat the pattern. And invisible decrease. Three loops and slide. Remove that stitch marker. So for round 5, this is the pattern. We're going to be decreasing again. So at the end of round 5, you're going to have 10 stitches. So this is the pattern. 2 single crochets, 2 invisible decreases, followed by 6 single crochets. So let's do the first 2. So the first 2 chains, you're adding 1 band, not starting where it's getting pulled. First chain with 1. Second chain with 1. Now the next 2 or the next 4, you're going to be making these smaller. That didn't make sense. So the next 2 chains here, we're going to do our invisible decrease. So you're going to bring 1 band through, do your slip stitch, leave it on your hook, go to the next chain, bring your band through, slide, and then slide. There's your decrease. You're going to do that again, 1 more invisible decrease. Slide, leave it on your hook, go to the next chain, repeat, 3 loops and slide. Now you should have 6 chains left. You're just adding 1 band until you get to the stitch marker. Remove that stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 6, we're doing 10 single crochets. So adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around until you get to your stitch marker. So your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring 1 band through. The next 1. So just continue around. Remove that stitch marker. For round 7, we're going to increase on this round to 12 stitches. So this is the pattern. 4 single crochets followed by an increase. 4 single crochets followed by an increase. So I am going to add 1 band in the first 4 chains. Make sure you don't go where your stitch is being pulled. You want to go in your next chain. I emphasize that because I'm constantly going in that spot. There's 1, chain 2 with 1. Chain 3, 1. And chain 4, 1. Now on your 5th chain, you're adding the 2 bands, 1 at a time. Back in, and you're going to repeat 1 band in the first 4 chains, chain 2 with 1, you're just repeating, chain 3, chain 4, and your last chain where your stitch marker is, you're adding 2 bands. Back in that same chain, and you can remove that stitch marker. For round 8, we're going to do 12 single crochets in using the inside loop only. So I know that this is hard to see because it's black, and I am very sorry, but you want to grab that inside loop, that single loop that's facing you. Don't go through the whole chain, and bring that first band through on your hook and slide. And continue going around with 1 band in each. Open it up if you can't see, like just open it like this and grab that inside loop. Don't grab that whole chain. All the way until you get to the stitch marker. Inside loop. You can remove that stitch marker now and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 9, we're going to do 12 single crochets all the way around, adding 1 band. 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way. Your last band, you're going to do a slip stitch, or sorry, a slip knot to tie it closed. So going in your first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and bring your first band through. Go around, 1 band. 1 band. Last band, bring it through all of the loops, grab the end and slide. You can remove that stitch marker, and your boot is complete. It's adorable. Round 1 of the arms, I'm going to show you to do 1, and then you're going to pause the video to make yourself another one. So I'm going to start off with the black color, and I'm going to do 5 single crochets in the magic ring. So using the bottom part of your loom, we're going to take our first band and wrap it around 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now you're going to bring your 5 bands through one at a time. So with your hook, reach in, bringing your first band through on your hook, and bring your loop over and bring your band to the side. Go back in for your second band, bring through on your hook, and you want to bring these 2 loops over. Bring it to the side. And you're just going to continue 2 loops over, back in, and 1 more. Attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook. You can remove off the loom, and you should have 5 stitches. Move your bands around so it's nice and even. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is on your hook. For round 2 of the arms, This is the pattern. We're going to start off with 1 single crochet followed by 3 increases. So adding 2 bands in the next 3 chains, and then your last band where your stitch marker is, you're adding 1 band. So let's go in our first chain and add 1. Now 2 bands in the next 3 chains, 1 at a time. You're going back in that same chain for your second band. Again, the next chain with 2 bands. Back in. And the next chain with 2 bands. Back in. And then the last chain with 1 band. So you should have 8 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3 and 4, we're just adding 1 band to each chain. So you're doing 8 single crochets. So it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way around. At the end of each round, you should have 8 stitches. So I'm going to do round 3 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done round 4. So going in your first chain, you want to add that 1 band, just 1. Your second chain with 1. Your next with 1, all the way until you get to your stitch marker. You can remove that stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 5, I'm going to be changing the color now to the gray color. So I'm going to start off with a slip stitch. For round 5, we're just going to grab the inside loops only. So you're not going to go through the chain, you're just going to grab your first loop that's facing you or to the center, that 1 loop. Because I'm changing color starting with a slip stitch, so I'm bringing it through all the bands, the 2 little loops that are on my hook, grab the end, and I'm going to slide, not pull. Now, if you can't find your inside loop, open it up. And you're going to see just the 1 little loop. So don't go through, you're just grabbing the 1. And bring your band through on your hook and slide. And now the next one, all the way until you get to the stitch marker. Inside loop only. Open it up if you can't see it. And my last one. So you should still have 8 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. Remember not to count this little slip knot. That's not a chain. I'm still using the gray color, and I'm going to do 8 single crochets around from round 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. I'm going to do round 6 with you, and then you're going to pause the video and come back to me when you're done. Now, when you're going in your first chain for round 6, don't go in your slip knot, go in your chain, and bring one band through your chain, on your hook and slide. Now continue going around with one band in each chain. All the way until you get to that stitch marker. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. I'm going to show you in a second how to do the slip knot and where to add the sewing bands. So now you're going to remove your stitch marker. You should still have that 8 stitches. And I'm going to show you when you get to the last band, make sure that you do a slip knot. So you're just going to pull your band through all of the loops, grab the end and tie it off. And that's what it should look like when you've completed all the rounds. Now, when you're done all the rounds, you want to add 2 sewing bands to close this. So I am going to go through the center stitches. So I'm going to skip right beside my slip knots and I'm going to go to the next stitch over. And I'm going to bring one of the bands through on my hook and do a slip knot. And then I'm going to do another one right at the end. So I'm going to go right at the side here. And I'm going to pull my band through so that it's even with the other slip knot at the other end. And then you can pause the video and complete the rest of the rounds. Round 1 of his Batman suit, what we're going to do is 8 single crochets in the magic ring. So you're going to take your first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now bring 8 bands through, one at a time. On your hook, bring your band over and bring it to the side. Go back in for your second band, bring through, on your hook, and bring these 2 loops over. Bring it to the side. Go back in, bring your 2 loops over, and bring it to the side. And just continue. Now attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook. Bring it off, take it off the loom, move your bands around, and you should have 8 stitches. For round 2, we're going to add 2 bands to each chain. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, all the way around. You're going to go in your first chain, you're going to add the 2 bands one at a time. Back in that same chain for your second band. And going to the next chain with 2 bands. Back in. And now you're just going to continue all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. The last one. So you should have 16 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, we're going to increase this round to 24 stitches. And this is the pattern. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around. You're going to repeat this 8 times. So let's go on our first chain with 1 band. Chain 2, you're adding 2 bands, 1 at a time. Back in. And repeat 1, 2. 1, 2 in the next. Back in. And now you can just continue the same way, 1 band, the next chain with 2 bands. Go back in that same chain. And now just continue all the way until you get to the stitch marker. I'm at my stitch marker and I'm adding my 2 bands. So again, you should have 24 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to increase this round to 32 stitches. So the pattern is going to be 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this pattern 8 times. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and adding 1 band. Chain 2 with 1. And chain 3, you're adding 2 bands. 1, back in, 2. And again, 1, 1, 2. Go back in for that second rubber band and repeat 1, 1, 2. Again, 1, 1, 2, and then you're going to continue all the way till you get to the stitch marker. Back in. And again. remove your stitch marker. You should have 32 stitches. For rounds 5, 6, and 7, we're just going to do 32 single crochets. So adding one band, one, to each chain all the way around till you get to your stitch marker. I'm going to do part of round 5 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to complete the rest of the rounds. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, and adding one band. Your next chain with one. Next with one. So again, just adding one band to each chain around until you get to that stitch marker. When you get to the stitch marker, don't forget to remove it and add it to the band that's around your hook. So I think now you've got the point. You can stop the video, pause it, and then come back to me when you're done. Just don't forget, all you're doing is going 1, 1, 1 all the way to the stitch marker. So pause the video and come back to me when you're done. For round 8, we are going to do 32 single crochets and only grabbing the outside loop only. So I am changing color to the yellow, so I'll start off with a slip stitch. So I'm adding one band, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way around, and I'm not going to go through the chain. I'm going to go through the center of each chain and just grab that loop that's facing outwards. And I'm going to bring my band through. It's your back loop. Sorry, let me do that again. I apologize. Go through your chain, not where it's getting pulled, your next one. Grab that back loop. You're starting off with a slip stitch and slide. Now each one, go through the center of the chain, just grabbing the outside loop only. Center of the chain, back loop, center of the chain, back loop, all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. So this is what it should look like so far, and you should have 32 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 9 and 10, with the yellow still, what we're going to do is just 32 single crochets around. So adding one band to each of the chains. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. I'm going to do part of 9 with you, and then you're going to stop the video to complete and complete round 10. So let's go on our first chain, not where it's getting pulled, not your slip knot, but your first chain. And you're going to bring your band through your chain on your hook and slide. One band in the next chain, one in the next, all the way around until you get to the stitch marker. So I'm thinking that you can pause the video now, complete the round, complete round 10, and then come back to me. So I'm changing to the gray color, so just in case you can't see, I'm not using black, I'm using the gray. And we're going to do 32 single crochets around, grabbing the inside loops only. So I am changing color. I have 32 bands. So at the end of this round, you'll still have 32 stitches. Changing color and going in my first band, not where it's getting pulled, and I'm just going to grab the inside loop only. Don't go through the whole chain, inside loop. Bring your first band through, both of the loops that are on your hook, grab the end and do that slip stitch. The next inside loop with one band. All the way around until you get to that stitch marker. Try to do that inside loop only, just grabbing that one. It makes it, there's a completely different look to it, and it looks nice. Drop my stitches. Almost done the round. Don't rush. Last one. Should still have 32 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For rounds 12, 13, 14, and 15, you're going to just do 32 single crochets using the same color gray. Now I'm going to do part of round 12 with you, and then you're going to pause the video to complete. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So let's go in, excuse me, let's go in our first chain, not your slip knot, your first chain. And you're going to bring a band through your chain and slide. The next with one band all the way till you get to your stitch marker. Excuse me. Each pile I have 32 bands, so at the end of these rounds you should have 32 stitches. So just keep going around, adding one band in each chain. So I think that you get the point of going around with one band in each chain until you get to the stitch marker. And just remember to remove the stitch marker before you go to the next round. I actually leave my C-clips in, and I keep adding a new C-clip so I can count how many C-clips I used, so I know how many rounds that I've done. So it's up to you, but just make sure that you don't just keep going. So pause the video and come back to me when you're done. So I'm at the last band of round 15 for the body. This is what you should have so far. I just wanted to point out that to make it sure that you do a slip knot to tie it closed. So with your last band, you want to bring it through all of the stitches that are on your hook and tie off. So this is what you should have. And you can remove that stitch marker because you're done with the body. Round 1 of the goggle, we're going to do 7 single crochets in the magic ring, and I'm using white. So take your first band and wrap it around the bottom peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Now bring 7 bands through, one at a time. So your first one, other end on your hook, your band over, bring it to the side. Go back in for your second band to bring through, on your hook, and 2 loops over. Make sure you're bringing it to the side. Go back in for your third band, other end on your hook, 2 loops over. Go back in, and you just want to continue. Go back over. And the last band, you want to attach your stitch marker to the band that's around your hook, and then you can remove off the loom, and you should have 7 stitches. So for round 2 of the goggle, we're going to increase on every stitch. So you're adding 2 bands, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, all the way around. At the end of round 2, you're going to have 14 stitches. So going in our first chain, you're adding 2 bands, one at a time. Back in, that same stitch to add your second band. Now moving on to the next stitch, and you want to add 2 bands. Back in, And moving on to the next stitch with 2 bands. So you just want to continue until you get to the stitch marker. And the last stitch with 2 bands. So again, you should have 14 stitches. Remove your stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 3, the pattern is 6 single crochets followed by an increase. So it's just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. You're going to repeat this 2 times. So let's go in our first 6 chains with 1 band. Chain 1 with 1. Chain 2 with 1. Chain 3. Chain 4. Chain 5. Chain 6. And then chain 7. So it's kind of at the top of where your stitch marker is. Chain 7, you're adding 2 bands. Back in. And now you're going to repeat the same thing, 6 single crochets, and where your stitch marker is, you're adding the 2 bands. Next, I'm changing the color to gray. So you should have 16 stitches. Remove that stitch marker and add it to the band that's around your hook. For round 4, we're going to do 16 single crochets, grabbing the inside loop only. I just want to point out that I'm changing color to the gray, and I'm going to start off with a slip stitch. So instead of going in your chain, again, we're only grabbing that inside loop, so the first loop. You're going to bring your band through your gray color here. You're going to bring it through all of the loops that are on your hook and slide. The next inside loop with 1 band pulled through on your hook and slide. So you're just continuing all the way until you get to that stitch marker. Inside loop. And the last one. Remove your stitch marker. For round 5, our last round, continuing with the gray, we're just doing 16 single crochets, adding 1 band, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the way around. Where you start, be careful you don't go in your slip knot, go in your chain, and bring your band through. Your last band, you're doing a slip knot to tie it closed, and then we're turning the goggle inside out. Last band, slip knot through all of the loops, grab the end and tie it off. Now you can remove the stitch marker, you don't need it anymore on the goggle, and you want to turn it inside out. Now I'm going to hide this slip knot, and I'm just going to go through the stitches. I'm going to bring it through, just bring it through the stitches. I have something in my eye. Okay, this is awkward. I'm not stopping. This one. Okay, so this is what you should have. Now we're going to do the back strap in a black color, and this is what it's going to look like. So there's 3 rounds to this, and first we're going to start off with doing a chain of 29. So I have 30 bands here. Our first band is going to be our cap band that I'm going to wrap. So you can see 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You're going to need 30 bands. Your first band is going to be a cap band that you're going to wrap around your hook 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. And now you're going to do a simple chain. So your first band, you're going to attach to your hook inside this band, your cap band over, and you're just making a simple chain. We need a chain of 29. So you can just continue doing the same thing, sliding the bands on, and you've got your simple chain. Take your time. You don't want the bands twisted, so just take your time doing this. So now I have a chain of 29. For round 2, what we're going to do is attach our little chain here. We're going to attach this end with our cap band right at the end. I'm going to use 30 bands to do this round. When you're attaching this end to this end, the cap band, make sure that it's not twisted. Like, you don't want to have it all twisted. You want to make sure that it's completely flat. So it's easy if you put it flat on your workspace, and you want to put your hook through the cap band. So those 3 little loops right at the end. And make sure that it's flat and not twisted. Now I'm going to bring my first band through all of these loops and do a slip knot. So bring all my loops through and grab the other end and slide. You don't need to pull too hard. Now I'm going to do a reverse stitch, so I'm going to be working backwards. So I'm going to just turn it around. Normally we would just go in here, but I'm just going to turn it around so I'm working the other way. And my hook is going to go in each chain around, so I'm going to do a single stitch on each chain until I get back to the end. So just to show you again, normally you would go this way. I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to bring my first band through my chain on my hook and slide. And I'm just going to go all the way around. If you don't turn, the worst that's going to happen is it's just not going to meet at the end. So this was me trying. And I forgot to turn. So I'm going to go in the next stitch and just doing your single crochet, adding one band. The next. So you can see how I'm working the opposite direction, and I'm going to go all the way around, and you're going to see where you need to stop. If you didn't count 30 bands, you're going to find your slip, your cap band, and you're going to know automatically where to stop. So just continue all the way around. Just going in the chains. Making sure that you're not twisting it and you're going like you're turning it or something. Try to keep it as flat as you can and try not to rush. If I am going too fast for you, just please pause the video. Oops, I didn't grab the chain. And I'm back where I started at the cap band. And this is where you should have what you should have. So I'm going to start you off. You're going to go in your chain. I'm just going to start you off so we don't let go. You're going to go in your first chain and just hold your hook there and keep it there until I set out the bands again. And you're just going to go around again, the single crochet, one band in each chain. So for round 3, again, 30 bands. Your last band, you're going to do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to grab my first band and bring it through that first chain that we had our hook set already. And continuing around. And we're still working in that reverse stitch. So you're just going through the chain if you can't see. And your last band, if I didn't say already, sorry, you're going to do a slip stitch with your last band to tie it closed, and then we're done with the strap. Again, if you're not counting, you're going to know where to stop. You're going to see a difference. They're going to not meet up. You're going to see where to meet up when you're done. So I'm back at my slip knot here. You can see it. I'm going to go one stitch over. I actually just needed 29 bands, sorry. I'm going to just stretch this out, and you're going to see the little cap band is right here. I'm just going to go one stitch over and do a slip knot to tie it closed. So I'm going to bring it through all of the loops and grab the end and tie it closed. And your little strap is done. It's not twisted, it's flat, it's straight. And we're just going to hide the little slip knot. So you can just go in the same direction in the little stitches here and bring your little slip knot through. Keep going just to hide it. So now we're going to add the eye, and the eye is your choice. Jess, when she created this, she used a 12mm safety eye. I unfortunately don't have any, so I'm going to work with what I have. I have some Google eyes. I have a pony bead. This is bigger than a 7. I'm thinking it's a 9mm pony bead. And I have some googly eyes. I even have a little button here, this round little ball that I found. So whatever you can find. I also just made a magic ring with 5 stitches here of the black, which I'm going to show you to do this just in case you don't have anything else. So I'm going to take this apart, and this is really simple. You're just going to do a magic ring with 5 stitches, and I don't think that I need to show you how to do that one, but what I am going to do is just take this apart right here and undo my slip knot and undo this one and put this back on my hook. So I made a magic ring with 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I'm going to close this off by going in the next stitch with a single black band. I'm pretty sure that this was simple enough to do. So I'm going to bring it through and on my hook and slide. And then close this off here. And I'm just going to hide this little slip knot by going through one of the stitches here and bringing this towards the back. Now I'm going to bring a white band through 2 of these stitches in the back. I can hide this after going out in the back of the goggle. So from either end, making sure that it's even, I'm probably going to go from here to here. I'm going to bring a white band through the stitches at the back. I'm just going to put in the center here and release. Now I'm going to bring this other end through another stitch on the opposite side. So over here. And this is the band that I'm going to use to pull through the back of the goggle. If you're using a safety eye, I cut 2 little holes and put a band through, and I used dental floss to bring it through. It's up to you. I think I'm going to be going with the Google eye. And I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to bring the white bands through to the other side, on either side of our magic circle. So going through here, bringing it through, and then finding the other end of the white to bring through. So I have both ends of that white through, and I'm going to find the other end, and I'm going to do a slip knot with another band. Now I just thought it would be a little bit different to bring, let's bring this black band to the back first. Going from the center and hiding that band. Now I'm going to bring this white band through the center of the eye and have it sticking out just a little bit. Something a little bit different. And then you can just fix that up. That's sticking out a little bit too much, so I'm just going to bring it back. At the end of the day, however you do it, it's yours. Something a little bit different, and you can just kind of fold the magic ring and there's the eye. But I will be attaching my googly eye, my wiggly eye, so I'll be using that. So get your eye ready and attach it. I'm just going to stick this in there, grabbing both of the blacks ends and the opposite side. Bring it to the back, and I'm going to use another band to tie it closed. And there's the eye. Now to attach this, the goggle part to the strap, it's up to you how you want to do it. I'm going to bring my little slip knot through, and I'm going to do two little slip knots on either side. I'm using the part where we started and stopped on the strap part, and I'm just going to go through the strap, grab one of the stitches on the goggle. Don't go through the whole goggle, because then you're going to see it on the other side. So I'm just going to grab two of the stitches. You don't want to see your stitch through. And I'm going to bring my band through and do a slip knot. And I'm going to do this on either side. But I don't want to go over, so I'm just going to go right beside where I came out and grab the other end and bring it through. And slip knot. And we're going to do this one more time on the other side. So go through, grab one of the little stitches, bring your band through, and you can go right beside it in another hole, grab the other end, and do a slip knot, and it's attached. And you could just fix it up. Hide the little slip knots in the back. Now to attach our suit to the body. So we're going to use 32 bands. You want to put the suit on, making sure that it's nice and flat, not stretched. And we're going to do 32 single crochets around. I'm going to start at the back. I just want to make sure that this is even. And I'm going to grab the body first and then the suit. So that's why I have it this way, so I can go from the body, then the suit. So it doesn't matter where you start. I'm going to start on the side of the slip knot. So body, let's see. I'm going to grab right underneath. Not up here, I was grabbing too high before. And I'm going to bring my first band through both of these chains. And I grabbed stuffing already. And slide. Now you're going to keep on going. Grabbing a chain on the body, the chain on the suit, slide your band through the chains, get it back on your hook, so you have the 3 bands, and then slide. You have to take your time on this one, and you're just repeating all the way until you get to the other side, or till you use 32 bands. Too high. I'm going right underneath the stitches of the suit, and then once in a while just give a quick look at your suit. I let go of the band to make sure that you didn't sew it on crooked and that it's still, there's no gaps here at the bottom. And you just keep on going. Now, if you have a gap where you see the yellow coming through this top stitch, that means that you're sewing it the wrong way. You're grabbing it differently than what I'm doing right now. So just watch out for that. Oops, I just want to make sure. Before you grab, look at where you're grabbing first and then put your hook through the stitch. I think I'm just going to give a quick look to make sure that I'm even. Yep. When you're coming around and you see the end, make sure you're along the same lines. I'm going to have quite a bit of cleaning up after I keep grabbing the stuffing. And this is our last band. I'm sorry. This is our last band. So I didn't notice. What you want to do is make sure that you're doing that slip knot to tie it closed. So you're bringing it through all of the loops and slide. And now check it out before you hide those slip knots, that everything is nice and even. I'm going to have quite a bit of cleaning up here, this stuffing. And all you're doing is just hiding these slip knots by bringing them underneath. And then you can do that with the other one.